You see, back then, they would take a piñata, they're hiding that thing behind the table because, you know, who wants to see that, right? So now my piñatas are centered. It's like the main thing when you come into a party. I'm Alfonso Hernandez, the owner of No Limit Piñatas. From Dallas, from East Dallas, born and raised, also known as the Piñata Man. We're in a place where it all started. This is my garage. When I first started, there was exercise equipment everywhere. The wall was white. It was a nice wall. It was a nice white wall, and yeah, I was working around exercise equipment. I grew up in a lowrider shop. My dad built lowriders, so he actually worked out of his garage as well. He's built a few cars that have won first place at lowrider shows. He's won first place for his airbrushing, and yeah, always looked up to him. I never thought I was going to be an artist, to be honest. It wasn't until I was about like 35, I think. My sister, she was gonna buy a piñata, and she told me she was gonna have it shipped in from Mexico, and she was gonna pay $100, right? So I was like, man, $100? You know, and I was out of a job, so I was like, man, let me give that a shot. At the time, I was like, $100 for a piñata, I thought that was a lot. I think my first piñata sold for like $35. Man, I think I spent like all week on it. And I've come a long way from there, you know. I knew there was gonna be people out there that wanted a badass piñata, because I was one of them myself. You know, I have a daughter, so, you know, we bought some piñatas. I actually still have her first piñata, which is crazy. It came out, it was really nice. And man, I can't stress this enough. Piñatas are fun. Like, I don't care how old you are. You can be, you know, 2 years old or 40 years old. You know, it's just fun. Like, who doesn't want to swing a bat and watch something break? Piñatas have been a part of our culture for a long time. One thing that I've noticed is that they never improved. I've seen piñatas, you know, since I was a little kid, and they've always looked the same. So, you know, I saw an opportunity there. I even went to YouTube. You know, I tried to go to YouTube and figure out how to make them. And what I had envisioned, what I was thinking, wasn't out there. It was nowhere out there. I couldn't find YouTube videos on it. I couldn't find, you know, the best piñata maker. And I saw that, I saw it like, you know, it was like a job opening. I created this thing like 5 or 6 years before I started making piñatas. Basically wood, cut them out with a jigsaw. As I look back, I see a lot of things that were pointing towards me making piñatas or like 3D art. So it's one of those things where it was just, I guess it's destiny. It was meant to be. And when I was young, I seen this guy, he created a piece, and he used everything. He used like an airbrush, he used spray paint, he used a brush. He just used everything he could on one piece, and I never looked at art the same no more. I thought, like, in order for my art to be badass, I had to use everything. Like, I felt like if I just used a brush, then it was like limited, right? When you're an artist, you have to do everything. You have to create the art. And creating art is not easy. Like, you know, being creative, you know, finding solutions for things. And, you know, it's so much more than just a painting. No matter what the task is, you know, I gotta go do it. Whether somebody wants something hanging out of a building. Sometimes I am working on like the sweetest bunny, and then I'm working on this, you know, aggressive creature. You know, I have to create. I was given a project to create a bunch of like killer looking plants, right? So all of these plants have teeth. You know, I didn't want them to look super scary and super dark. So I wanted them to look a little bright and fun, but at the same time, look a little dangerous. You know, I've made so many piñatas, and through the years, I slowly like elevated to sculptures. Behind me are a couple of sculptures, have Selena and Kobe. You know, the amount of work that goes into a sculpture versus piñatas is like 10 times work. What makes a piñata and a like sculpture different is the sculptures, they have internal frames. There's a lot of different materials that are used. Piñatas, you know, I don't use any kind of harmful products. I don't use Bondo. There's no wood, there's no metal. When I make a piñata, it's all paper, it's all cardboard, it's all Elmer's glue. And when I build a sculpture, we're dealing everything from metal, wire mesh, which usually, you know, this one hand, I probably have about 15 to 20 cuts. There's no room for, oh, I don't feel creative today. Nah, this is what I do. This is my job. So I know that, you know, everybody thinks an artist's life is an easy one. You know, you get to relax a lot or, you know, set your own alarms, wake up when you want, but there's a lot more to it. The piñata breaking, man, it's like an interactive thing. Like even everything from the guy holding, you know, the uncle holding the rope, you know, he plays a part in it. And the kid that breaks it plays a part in it. Not only that, when they start breaking it open, you know, each kid's grabbing a piece. Now they have souvenirs and they're taking it home. And I'm pretty sure there's like 100 pieces of piñatas in Dallas right now. I've seen people walk away with feet, arms, legs. You're buying like a memory, right? So if you buy it and you just put it in the corner or they put it in a room, you don't develop a memory from that, right? But if you buy it, you go break it, and everybody has fun, like you just created something that you'll remember, you know, for a long time.